I'm saying? Shout out to Speed though for going crazy. Let me go and see this right quick. Scary videos that will, let's go, very true spring. This right here, y'all. So we got some scary videos, man. You know what I'm saying? What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Chick Willie Silly, man, aka Mr. Take It Easy before you end up life easy. But make sure y'all follow my Instagram and Twitch in the description down below. Everything you know about your boy Jay, it's in the description down below. You know what I mean? Hey, YouTube, don't mind the jackasses. They have nothing better to do but to argue with each other, bro. You know what I'm saying? Honestly. So it's kind of, very strange of them folks up there. So don't mind the weirdos. You know what I mean? They don't have nothing else better to do. You know what I mean? That's what I say for me. I just ignore them. You know what I mean? That's all they do. It's their life. You know what I mean? So you just got to let them do what they do. The Steelers warrior for kid. You got to let all them dudes do what they do. You know what I mean? Honestly, because this is their life. They don't know nothing else. They don't know nothing better than that. They don't know no better. So all I do is just let them do what they do. They don't know better, right? Y'all don't know better, do you? You don't know how to shut up, do you? You know what I'm saying? Do you, nigga? You feel me? But yeah, like I was saying, though, man, we got 3 terrifying true spring horror stories, man. If y'all want to go watch all my scare reactions, bro, 23,000 people has watched my scare reactions. 23,000. And I got over 100 videos in the scare reaction, bro. I am live on Twitch, too. So if you want to follow the Twitch, link is in the description down below. But hey, man, I'm just ready for summer, man. You know what I mean? Am I right? Am I right? Am I right? I'm ready for summertime, man. Like I said, I am not allergic to pollen. So spring don't really bother me like that. You know what I mean? But I do be having these fat old bees outside my house. It's like they be waiting for a nigga too, just coming out there, just be bzzz, them fat old bees. I'll be like, man, God. You know what I'm saying? But no, I ain't got a problem with springtime though, man. Thumbnail time. Dang, man, a lot of y'all really allergic to pollen. I don't know how that feel to be allergic to pollen, man. Having allergies,
I'm
man.
a single guy in my mid-30s. This happened a few years ago during a somewhat depressing period in my life. I had just broken up with my girlfriend of 5 years.
You'll be all right, bro. You'll be all right. I mean, don't be depressed by no girl, all right? You'll be all right, bro. She just wasn't the one, Brody. Just wasn't the one. You feel me? You'll be all right, man. Better times coming. Better times coming.
Marrying one day and starting a family with. It's safe to say I was pretty lost at that time. I can't lie, the psychological damage of the breakup was pretty severe. I spent entire weeks sulking and forgetting to take care of myself. I'd wake up, talk to no one, go to work, talk to no one, and come home to spend the rest of the day in bed.
But dang, like y'all literally had let people have control. And the thing is, I've had some breakups that been hard. I just, like, for me, I'm never gonna let nobody have control over my life like that. It's just like, I'm not gonna cap and act like I just wouldn't hurt about the breakup, but sitting in my bed, soaking and crying and being depressed about something that just didn't work out, it's not gonna happen. I've been, in breakups before. You know what I mean? But this low key is kind of pathetic, man.
Go to work, talk to no one, and come home to spend the rest of the day in bed.
Yeah, get your stupid self up. I ain't gonna lie, what you just said made me mad, bro. Get your dumb self up, boy. You a man, right? Niggas get shot every day, B. You know what I mean? I don't need you soaking around crying about no girl that's replaceable, bro. 5 years, I get it. You know what I mean? But get your little stupid self up, bro. Get out of bed, bro, and live your life, boy.
The weekends were even worse. I'd forget to eat, and I wouldn't leave the house. I'd binge watch movie after mind-numbing movie, not even realizing what I was watching half the time. But enough with the sob story. I'm much better now, although I still often think about the life I could have had if things went differently. Anyway, it was a Saturday night. I was slumped on the couch, barely moving except to hit play on another random movie. I couldn't even tell you what it was. Just another mindless action flick I'd forget about by the time it ended. For context, I was in my room, which is on the second floor of my house. I have a couch and a TV in my bedroom, so I typically never watch TV anywhere else but there. At one point, I looked down at my phone. It was a few minutes after 9 p.m. I remember that distinctly because my mom was calling me for like the 4th time that day. I didn't want to ignore her, but I let it ring out anyway. I knew she meant well, but I couldn't bring myself to talk. I didn't want to hear the usual questions about whether I'd eaten or gone outside. Eventually, I got tired of whatever was playing and backed out to the menu. I wasn't really in the mood for anything, but I clicked on some random horror movie I'd never heard of. It was one of those generic ones with a grainy thumbnail.
Yeah, bro, I'm watching a good series right now. You know, it got something to do with Breaking Bad. You know what I'm saying? Better Call Saul. It's heating up now. I'm in season 2. Is Better Call Saul, is it gonna get good, bro? 'Cause I'm in Breaking Bad, bro. Breaking Bad started off very slow, but it turned out to be one of the best shows I've ever watched. So it's like that happens a lot. You know what I mean? When it comes to like the best shows, it starts off slow, but it's fire. Okay, cool. You know what I mean? Don't tell me nothing about it, but I'm in season, it started off slow. One thing I've realized about it, you know what I'm saying, is that bro, the best shows start off like you feel me, start off freaking slow as heck, bro. You know what I mean? Like Breaking Bad, like it's like you gotta pay attention. Like a lot of y'all attention spans be so freaking like freaking low, and that's what Prison Break too. You know what I'm saying? Like it was I was watching Prison Break and it was starting off so slow. I was like, bro, I'm getting tired of just, you know what I'm saying? But you gotta have attention. You can't have a small attention span, bro. You gotta, you know, like watch it, bro. You gotta make it through them boring times. You know, same thing for Ozark. Like when I was watching Ozark, like Ozark was getting good. Ozark started off real slow. You know what I'm saying? But then it was banging. Like it was one of the best shows I've ever watched. Ozark. If I didn't watch Ozark, Ozark was fire. You know what I mean? But Breaking Bad, you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm thinking about watching El Camaro too, you know what I'm saying? But I'm on Better Call Saul right now. So yeah. I forgot what series I finished before Better Call Saul. Y'all need to watch Money. Is it on Netflix? Heck yeah. You need to watch Money Heist. If you didn't watch Money Heist, you did not watch Money Heist, we finna get back into it. Cuz if you didn't watch Money Heist, you haven't lived life. I'm gonna keep it real with you, bro. If you haven't watched Money Heist, you have not lived life.
I figured I'd half watch
Money Heist is the ish, and Money Heist is on Netflix. You know what I mean? You say, I haven't watched Berlin? Nah.
Until I fell asleep. About 20 minutes in, I realized the movie was even worse than I expected. The audio was a mess. Every time someone talked...
You say you haven't peeked it yet? Bro, you gotta watch it, bro. You gotta watch it. Excuse me, YouTube. You gotta watch it, bro. You gotta watch Money Heist, bro. You know what I'm saying? Money Heist and The Chi. I'm gonna get back into it. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm interacting right now. And The Chi, I was watching it until Brandon got killed. You know what I mean? I don't know. Brandon got killed. That was like my favorite character, bro. So, you know, that kind of, you know, I mess with Kev. I mess with Jake and all. But when Brandon got killed, I kind of X'd out the show. You know what I'm saying? If it's still good, now watch it. You know what I'm saying? But after Brandon, I got mad. I ain't gonna lie. And I just got the freak up out of it. I ain't gonna count.
Expected. The audio was a mess. Every time someone talked, I had to turn the volume way up just to catch a word or two. And then the next sound effect would blast through the speaker.
Hold on, man. Let me go in.
About 20 minutes in, I realized the movie was even worse than I expected. The audio was a mess. Every time someone talked, I had to turn the volume way up just to catch a word or two. And then the next sound effect would blast through the speakers and damn near rupture my eardrums. For whatever reason, though, I kept the movie on. I think it was just because I was too lazy to change it again.
What movie you watching?
At some point, I started noticing this weird sound effect in the movie. It was this sharp, metallic clang, kind of like a pipe hitting concrete. It didn't match anything that was happening on the screen. No one was holding metal, and no one was in a warehouse or anything like that, and it wasn't timed with the scares either. It would just show up every minute or so, like the director had accidentally looped it or something. Same exact sound, same volume, and same pitch. It was almost too consistent to be a coherent sound design choice. That, plus the fact that the rest of the audio was mixed so poorly, made me question how the movie had even made it to streaming platforms.
Nigga, what you watching your movie on Tubi, nigga? Know what I'm saying? Like, this nigga watching a movie on Tubi or something? To my audio, bro. Like, what type of movie app you got, gang?
Mixed so poorly, made me question how the movie had even made it to streaming platforms.
Nigga on Stream East?
The poor quality of the movie actually made it harder to turn off, partly because I was enjoying criticizing it, but also partly because I needed to see how something so terrible would play out. About halfway through, I got up to use the bathroom, and for whatever reason, I actually paused the movie instead of not caring enough about what was going on.
Freak is that?
When I got back and sat down, I grabbed the remote and hovered over the play button, but right as I was about to press it, I heard that sound again. That same sharp metallic clang, except this time, the movie was paused. I froze for a second, just staring at the screen. No audio, no movement. The sound had been clear as day.
Somebody in your house.
It had come from somewhere inside the house. That's when it clicked. It had never been part of the movie. I stayed completely still, trying to make sure I hadn't imagined it.
Man, you didn't imagine it, bro. You heard what you heard, man. It's somebody in your house. It probably a little crazy girl, but you broke up with 5 years ago, boy.
I stayed completely still, trying to make sure I hadn't imagined it. I watched the paused screen and just listened, hoping my mind had just been playing a trick on me. But then, about 45 seconds later, there it was again. The exact same clang. I didn't waste another second. I immediately jumped up, grabbed a knife from my desk, and started moving room to room, frantically checking every place someone could possibly be hiding.
That's right.
Every room in the house was clear, though. There was no one. In fact, there were no signs that anything was out of place either.
This nigga hallucinating. That girl got you like that, boy. That girl got you like that, boy. Boy, you hearing noises, you check around the whole crib, going room to room with knives and all that, boy, God. You know what I'm saying? That girl got you like that, boy. What type of coochie she had, boy? You talking about you ain't leaving home? That nigga talking about he ain't going out of bed? That boy depressed? Boy, God, that boy need therapy. You know what I'm saying? That boy hearing clacking noises, that boy go around the whole house, he sees nothing. You know what I'm saying? That boy needs some therapy, man. That girl put that thing on that nigga.
There was no one. In fact, there were no signs that anything was out of place either. But as I walked back up the stairs with my heart still pounding, I heard the clang again. It wasn't as loud this time, meaning it must have been coming from my room, where I had been watching the movie. But I had been sitting there the whole time, so that didn't make any sense. That's when it hit me. I had a few windows open. It was spring, and the weather had finally started warming up, so I'd gotten into the habit of cracking them in the evenings to let some air in. I started thinking maybe the sound wasn't coming from inside the house at all.
Outside.
Maybe it had been coming from right outside the house this whole time. I don't know why, but that thought scared me even more. I went over to the window and pushed the curtain aside just enough to get a look at the backyard, and there it was. One of the deck chairs was sitting out in the middle of the lawn, maybe 20 feet from the house. And standing next to the chair was a kid, a young kid.
What?
I couldn't really make out any of his facial features given that it was so dark out, but the silhouette was way too small to be an adult. It was 100% a little kid. He was holding what looked like a PVC pipe, which explained the noise I had been hearing.
Bro, don't go outside, bro. You gonna go outside now, bro? Like, come on, bro. Let that little bro, it's a little kid, bro, standing in the middle of your yard, bro, with a chair, bro. You know what I mean? What, you gonna go outside and try to look at it, bro? What you gonna, you finna do that game? I'm telling you, watch you gonna go outside, bro. I'm telling you, watch how you gonna go outside. You got jackasses like this. I react to this junk all the time, bro. Jackass gonna go outside, bro.
He was holding what looked like a PVC pipe, which explained the noise I had been hearing. He must have seen me, because as soon as I looked out the window, he smacked the pipe against the chair. I instantly stepped away from the window and felt my body start filling with fear. I know it sounds silly that I was afraid of something like that, but I couldn't fathom what that kid was doing outside my house. Did he have some kind of mental disorder? It did make sense. And then I thought about the fact that he must have been standing out there for nearly an hour.
Damn!
It freaked me out even more.
Freak that nigga standing, boy.
I tried to slow my breathing and think rationally. Maybe the kid was lost. Maybe he had wandered off from a nearby house and didn't know how to get back.
That's not your problem, bro. I'm telling you, there ain't no normal kid finna be standing, bro, in front of your lawn, bro, knocking on the chair, bro. There ain't no normal kid. I'm telling you, bro. That's a demon, bro. Nah, I mean, I don't know what the heck you got going on in your house, bro. For real, bro. I'm telling you, bro. I think you hallucinating, bro. I just heard what you was going through at the beginning, gang. It didn't sound good, bro. You didn't sound like you were straight in the head. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I feel like you hallucinating, gang. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? You need help, bro?
He had wandered off from a nearby house and didn't know how to get back. I told myself I couldn't just stand there and do nothing.
That's what I said, man. Oh my God. I said this nigga was gonna go outside. I said this nigga was gonna go outside. Told y'all told this nigga was gonna go outside. I told you niggas, man. Dang, man. Man. God, man. Get tired of this junk, bro. I told y'all these niggas was gonna go outside. I said this nigga was gonna go outside, man. Right when I heard it was a little kid, I'm like, oh, this nigga finna go outside. Dang, cuz. Oh, bro, y'all folks always want to be event. Always want to see what the problem is, bro. Dang, bro. I knew you was gonna go outside, bro. I knew it, gang. You know what I said? I told y'all, bro. Right when I heard that little kid, I'm like, oh, it's a little kid. This nigga finna go outside. Because what if he's lost? What if there's something going on with him? What if he wandered off? He make an excuse just to go outside. What if he's a little kid? He's a little kid. I just can't leave him outside alone.
Back. I told myself I couldn't just stand there and do nothing. So I went down the stairs and made my way through the house toward the back door, trying to keep calm. I even turned on the porch light, thinking it might help the kid feel less spooked, or at least give me a better look at him. As I was turning the doorknob, I froze. Something about it felt wrong, like I was walking into some kind of trap. If that kid were really lost, wouldn't he ring my doorbell or call out to me through my window? And even if he were too scared to, and ultimately decided that banging a pipe against one of my chairs was the best option, would he really stick to that strategy after a whole hour? It was insane. Something in my gut told me not to go outside, so I slowly backed away from the door. I crept over to a small window just left of the door, one that overlooked the porch and part of the backyard. I kept the light off behind me and slowly tilted the blind with 2 fingers, just enough to see through without drawing attention, and there they were. There were 2 men wearing all black, crouching below my back door, as if ready to ambush me the second I opened it. I must have stared too long, because one of the men suddenly turned his head and locked eyes with me through the glass. I dropped the blinds and instantly dialed 911. I was halfway up the stairs when I heard banging on the back door. Those guys were trying to break in. I sprinted to my bathroom and locked the door. By that point, I was having a full-on panic attack.
See, we ain't sprinting no I told you. See, we not sprinting to no bathroom. See, my mom, see, look. We not sprinting to no bathroom. I told y'all I got right here. I'm not finna show y'all, but got something right here. It's gonna handle all them problems. I ain't sprinting to no bathroom. I ain't sprinting to it. I know this house better than you. I'm gonna fire you up. You come up in here. I promise you. I'm gonna send you to God. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, bro. I'm gonna send you to God. I don't know how many times I be having to tell y'all this. I'm telling you, I'm gonna put you under here, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure, boy. I'm telling you, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because it kind of offend me, bro. It offends me. Like, dang, nigga, you finna break into my house, nigga. You think you finna kill me? Like, you really think that? You know what I'm saying? You really think you finna kill me? That offends a nigga like me. Like, nigga, I'm finna pop this nigga. And I try to tell y'all these bullets I got straight like hollows. This one shot kill a nigga. You feel me? So you think you finna, and I know the hiding spots in this house. You hop into this door, you ain't gonna know what nigga at. Nigga gonna be having you lined up just like there. You ain't gonna know what nigga at. You know what I'm saying? Nigga gonna have you lined up just like that. You feel me? Coming to that door, you ain't gonna know what a nigga at. Nigga know what nigga know the hiding spots. Nigga know where to, man, I'm a blah! You know what I'm saying? Straight up. All you really gotta do is shoot one time. Just shoot one time, bro, and they gonna flee.
I felt like I couldn't move. I was struggling to breathe, honestly. Shortly after I got to the bathroom, I heard a crash from downstairs, followed by the sound of footsteps walking around below me. Those people were in my house. I heard a set of footsteps walking up the stairs, and I held my breath as they made their way down the hall.
I kill you, nigga.
I saw the bathroom doorknob turn ever so slightly, followed by a loud bang, like they were trying to kick the door down. That made me lose it. I yelled at the top of my lungs that the police were on their way, and the person on the other side of the door instantly ran back down the stairs. A few seconds later, I heard one of the doors slam, then silence. The police arrived shortly after that, and I told them everything. There wasn't much they could do. I didn't have any cameras, and I wasn't even able to give them any valuable information. The one thing that made them take things a little more seriously was the fact that there was a child involved. According to the police, that kind of involvement suggested whoever these guys were, they weren't just impulsive criminals. They were willing to go way further, and that was the scariest part for me too. I don't like thinking about the poor kid's involvement in the whole thing. Every explanation I came up with is equally sickening. The police told me
Bro, you can't think like that when it come to kids. You got kids out here dropping niggas. Bro, you got kids out here killing, bro. You got kids out here sticking up people, bro. You got some kids that was raised up in that criminal lifestyle, bro. You know what I'm saying? So you can't underestimate, oh, that's a kid. I don't give a dang it's a kid. That little kid play grown man games. That kid gonna get shot down like a grown man. Simple as that. Because this little kid can kill me. I don't know what this little kid capable of. Because when I was a kid, I had common sense. I knew not to go rob a house. I knew not to go do this. I knew not to go do that when I was a kid. Kids ain't as dumb as you think they is. So that probably was his uncles. That probably was his brothers. You never know who it was with that nigga. He probably was in on it. You never know. Don't ever underestimate a kid. I feel like there's a lot of men have that problem. Underestimating kids and underestimating women. Y'all gotta stop doing that. I ain't underestimating no kid. I'm gonna keep it real with you, bro. You're over the age of 9, I'm taking you dead serious. You're over the age of 9, I'm taking you serious, bro. Probably like, what? When you're over the age of 9, I'll take you dead serious. Yes, that's for sure, yeah. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Over the age of 9, that's the limit. Yep, I don't care. 22, 9, yep. Little kid get wrong in my pop. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, yo. Yep, over the age of 9.
I was likely the target of a random attack.
Okay, 10, all right? 10. 11, okay? I don't want you to look at 11, okay? I'll get a little nigga a pass if you're 11, all right? We're not going over 11. You know what I'm saying? 11 years old, he should know who the freak he talking to, right? Am I right, fellas? The little nigga should know some respect. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, y'all should thank me. Because that little nigga talking to me like that, that proves that that nigga ain't got no home training. So me disciplining him, me disciplining him is going to make him a better man. So that whooping I give him, that beat down I give him, you know what I'm saying? That gonna make him into a better man. I cannot play in the world like that. I can't go in the world disrespecting people like that. Because I'm gonna get my butt whooped like that last nigga that whooped my butt. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't discipline your kids, I'm gonna discipline your kid.
But the whole scheme was just way too elaborate, in my opinion. Nothing has happened since, though, and I've since moved on with my life. I just really hope that kid is somehow safe, even though I know the odds are slim. It's currently 2024 as I'm writing this. I'm a senior and I'm graduating in a couple weeks. Let me give you all a very brief rant. I never understood how most of my friends could survive a whole week-long spring break trip to Miami or some other party destination. I simply can't. So
hey, bro, I found my peoples, right? All that Miami and all that, bro. I don't know, man. Me and you both, brother. Me and you both. I never understood that.
Or some other party destination. I simply can't. So for every year of college, spring break was an excuse for me to just go home and relax. This past spring break was no different. I'd essentially be going off the grid for a week, taking a break from grueling schoolwork and mindless drama. I was actually really pissed because I had been working on a flawless regrade request for a midterm I'd just taken, and my scummy TA denied it for no good reason. But anyway, it was a Monday morning. I didn't really have any plans, just needed to get a workout in, but that was about it. I've always been a morning workout guy. It's the one thing that makes me feel like I have my life together. So even though I was home for spring break and technically had nothing to do, I still set my alarm for 6 a.m. and forced myself out of bed. I figured if I got to the gym early enough, I could beat the rush. By 6:20, I was already dressed, out the door, and on the road. The drive to the gym takes about 15 minutes, mostly back roads through quiet residential neighborhoods. Nothing ever really happens out there. It was definitely a nice place to grow up in, but a little boring once I got older and all my childhood friends started moving on with their lives. I was driving along listening to some YouTube...
No cap, though. I'm glad I moved from Alabama, though, bro, because glad I'm just in Georgia now. You know what I'm saying? Like being in Alabama, bro. You know, it was fun when I was little, you know what I'm saying? But I can already tell, I went back to Alabama a couple times. A lot of times, you know what I'm saying? Just going back to Alabama, bro, I can just tell, like, yeah, this definitely won't be the place I love to be. Like, when I was little, it was fun, but, you know, you growing up, man, it jump whack, G. You know what I mean? I don't even go back and, you know what I mean, and visit for real. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, I be in Georgia with it. I ain't really, unless it's some family, you know, I can go down there and kick it when, you know, kick it down there, cause fam down there, you know what I'm saying? That's where I'm from and stuff like that. So, you know, they gonna go down there. I'm talking about like staying down there, nigga, please, nigga.
Beats.
I ain't like going through there.
When something strange caught my eye. There was an ice cream truck parked along the curb, just sitting there, engine off, no lights. That wouldn't have been weird in the summer, I guess, but this was mid-March. It was still kind of chilly out. All the kids were still in school too. There was no reason for an ice cream truck to be sitting there at 6:30 in the morning.
Oh yeah.
It's completely out of place.
Definitely.
As I drove past the truck, I slowed down just enough to glance through the driver's window. It was empty. By the time I turned the corner and left it behind,
I ain't gonna cap. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, me being little, me and my boy Reagan would have came across the ice cream truck. Oh, we would have went in that ice cream truck. We looking past, seeing nobody in the ice cream truck. We finna go in the ice cream. We finna get some ice cream.
I found myself thinking more about it than I should have. I don't know why. The sight just felt a little bizarre. It wasn't just that it was too early in the year for ice cream trucks. It was that I couldn't remember ever even seeing one in my neighborhood at all. Not even when I was a kid. My area just wasn't that kind of place. As weird as the whole thing was, I quickly dismissed it and proceeded with my workout. After the gym, I got a quick bite to eat and headed home, feeling like I'd actually done something with my morning. But as I turned onto the same street from earlier, the ice cream truck was still there, in the same exact spot. That made me pause. I figured someone would have called it in by now. This is the kind of neighborhood where people are really uptight and get twitchy if you park too long in front of their house. That actually reminds me of a time when some grumpy woman gave my friends and I crap for parking in front of her house, even though we were waiting for our other friend who lived right next door. I say that to say that I'm not crazy for expecting someone to have called the police about the truck. Curiosity got the better of me. Instead of heading straight home, I circled around the block to pass the truck again, just to see if someone was inside it now, and someone was. As I drove past the second time, I must have been a little too obvious with how slowly I was driving, because the guy in the front seat locked eyes with me for a few seconds. He looked really off. He had this long, almost cartoonishly pointed nose and a scraggly beard that looked like it hadn't seen a razor in years. He genuinely looked like someone who lived in his vehicle, and it rubbed me the wrong way. I drove straight home after that. My parents were both at work, so I had the place to myself. I spent the next few hours just killing time. Sometime in the afternoon, I walked down the driveway to check the mail. As I got to the end of the driveway, I glanced down the street and nearly died inside. It was that same ice cream truck from before. It was parked across the street, about 3 houses down. It wasn't facing me, but I had a feeling it wasn't just a coincidence. I didn't move for a second. I just stood there, trying to make sense of what I was seeing. Had that guy really followed me home? I knew he had. There was no other explanation.
See, that's why you gotta be looking around, bro. You gotta be looking around, G. You know what I'm saying? Like, me seeing something odd like that, bro, you think I'm finna just be riding around the block and not seeing if a nigga following me, bro? You probably just driving, the nigga following you the whole way down. He's still in that car. He looking at you through his rearview mirrors, bro. That's why he turns that way. So he's this way. The boy is right here, and the truck is this way. If y'all don't know, you got rearview mirrors. So he watching them through the rearview mirrors. He don't see him watching them, but he watching them.
I grabbed the mail and walked straight back inside, trying not to make it obvious that I'd seen anything.
Bro, some people just got zero awareness, bro. Some people just, you know, don't be having a care in the world. So, you know, that's how some people is, bro. So for me, bro, I'm spotting the ice cream truck. I'm always seeing if I'm being followed. For me, bro, I'm always looking. You feel me? So I'm going to see if you follow me. I'm going to see if an ice cream truck follow me. Cause, you know what I mean? I'm always looking back. I'm always looking at my rearview mirrors. It's just, it's a habit, bro, to the point like I can't help not doing it. You feel me? So that's why I say it's impossible to follow me. I'm always looking. You know what I'm saying? Every time. Look. Probably look like freaking 10 times. Like, bro, I look so much in that review mirror, bro.
I grabbed the mail and walked straight back inside, trying not to make it obvious that I'd seen anything. Once I was upstairs, though, I went to one of the guest bedrooms. There's a window that overlooks the street from a better angle, so I pulled the curtain aside and peeked through. Sure enough, the ice cream truck was still there. I watched it for a few minutes, but nothing happens. I'm not sure what I expected to see, but I couldn't bring myself to look away. Eventually, I had no choice. I didn't have all day to spend staring out a window, so I tried to get some stuff done on my laptop. I couldn't focus, though. Every half hour or so, I'd feel the urge to go back to the guest room and glance out the window. Every time I looked, the ice cream truck was still visible, but it was in a different spot, which meant the driver was intentionally moving around the street for whatever reason. I didn't know whether it was a good idea to call the police or not. I wasn't sure what I'd even say, given that nothing had actually happened. Even now, I wish that I had just done what any normal person would have done and either called the police or tried to ignore the truck, but I was too curious. My older brother is really into bird watching, so I started digging around his room for a set of binoculars I knew was in there somewhere. Eventually, I found them and returned to the guest room. I pulled the curtains aside and looked at the—
Y'all know what's crazy? Y'all, a lot of y'all probably looking like, dang, why that nigga doing all this? But I ain't gonna lie, y'all, I'm just like this. I'm not gonna say like I be just spying on people, but I be spying on people. Like for real, I be looking at people, bro. You don't even know I'm looking at you, bro. I'm the type of nigga, like even in my neighborhood, bro, I'm always looking around. I'm always looking outside. I'm just always looking, bro. I'm sometimes looking at what's going on across the street. I'm looking at what's going on. I'm always looking, bro. Always, bro. I remember I was over my ex house. I say a lot about my ex, bro, because it just things be coming to mind. So whatever come to mind, I'm saying. I'm over my ex house. I'm looking at the blinds and stuff like that. She's like, can you stop looking at my blinds? So in my head, I'm thinking like, first of all, shawty, this is what I wanted to say. First of all, I ain't no little kid. I can look at blinds if I want to look at blinds. If I'm not messing up your blinds, I can look at blinds if I want to look at your blinds. You know what I'm saying? I'm new to this area. I don't know what a freak I'm at. I'm looking over there. I'm looking at them blinds like 20 times. I'm just looking at the blinds. Can you stop looking at my blinds? And guess what I did again? Look at blinds. I don't want to look at blinds, cuz. It's a habit, nigga. So you telling me not to look at my blinds, that making me feel some type of way. She don't even know that making me feel like, dang, why you don't want me to look at the blinds for? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that's not her, but it's just me being me. I'm not familiar with this area. So how I look at blinds outside your crib, that's how I look at blinds outside my crib. I ain't messing up your blinds, but I'm looking at them blinds for sure. So even after she told me don't look at them blinds, get what I started doing again. Looking at them blinds. Shawty, I don't care what you talking about. I'm finna look at these blinds. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't doing it the whole time, but that's just me being aware. I'm an awareness type of dude, bro. Me being aware, I'm looking at blinds. I ain't gonna cap. You feel me? So it's just, you know.
Truck through the binoculars. I was not prepared for what I was about to see. Through the driver's side window, I could see that man from earlier, only he wasn't just sitting there. He was looking back at me with a pair of his own binoculars.
What the
As soon as he saw me looking, he instantly dropped the binoculars, started the truck, and drove off. I was horrified. That guy had been spying on me and my house for the better part of 3 hours after literally stalking me home.
This nigga was looking at you through his binoculars.
That's when I finally called the police. I didn't even know what I was expecting from it. I just didn't know what else to do. I told them that this ice cream truck had been circling my neighborhood all day, that I'd seen a man inside watching my house through binoculars, and that he drove off the second I looked back. The dispatcher was calm and told me they'd send someone to patrol the area and keep an eye out. She told me it should be relatively easy to spot an ice cream truck given how distinctive they were. Then she hung up. I didn't know what else to do after that. When my parents got home a little while later, I filled them in. They were obviously concerned, but they also told me it probably wasn't worth worrying about anymore. I was pretty tired by then, so I fell asleep pretty quickly. Sometime later, I woke randomly in the middle of the night. Instinctively, I grabbed my phone off my nightstand. It was sometime just after 3 a.m. I sat there in bed, trying to figure out what had woken me up, when I heard it. Music. It was very faint, almost too faint to notice at first. I kept listening, and panic started building inside me when I realized what kind of music it was.
Bro crazy, bro playing it through the neighborhood. Bro don't give a dang about nothing. That's how you know that's how you know you dealing with a Looney Tune. That nigga, you know, yeah, bro. Y'all already know, bro. Them ice cream trucks, that junk loud, bro. Everybody hear that. So for you to be playing that junk in the middle of the night, this nigga don't give a dang, bro. Bro really Looney Tune.
The jingle of an ice cream truck. Before I could do anything, something clicked softly against the glass of my bedroom window. I instantly connected the dots. Someone was throwing rocks at my window. That had to be what had woken me up. The music was way too quiet on its own. I sat frozen for a while, staring at the wall across from me. I kept telling myself to look, to just get up and check. But every time I started to move, my body locked up again. Eventually, I forced myself to do it. I crept toward the window and stood to the side of it for a second. On the count of 3, I peeled back the curtain in one fluid motion and looked. The man from earlier was standing in the middle of my front yard, right below my window, and on either side of him, holding his hands, were 2 small children, or at least they looked like children based on how short they were. I really couldn't tell on account of how dark it was. I didn't waste another second. I tried to ignore the pounding in my chest, stepped away from the window, and immediately went to wake up my dad. I had already dialed 911 by the time he went downstairs to have a look around. My dad's a pretty tough guy, so I figured he'd want to handle things himself. Unfortunately, that man had somehow slipped away in the few minutes it took us to get outside. The police arrived a while later. A few days went by and we never heard anything, and I eventually had to go back to school, but my parents promised me they'd be on high alert. That was almost a month ago, and luckily, my parents haven't told me about any strange occurrences since then. The reason I'm writing this now, though, is because my mom called me a few days ago. Apparently, there was a missing persons case that had just gone public in our hometown. 2 6-year-old twins, a boy and a girl, had vanished from a neighborhood about 30 minutes from where we lived.
Shoot.
The moment she said it,
that was probably them 2 kids that you seen, bro.
My mind went straight back to that night, to those 2 small figures standing on either side of the man in my front yard. The whole thing honestly makes me sick. Why would that guy sit in my house for hours and throw rocks at my windows in the middle of the night? And why even go to those lengths if he was involved in something as serious as a kidnapping? Maybe he was worried that I had somehow caught on to what he was doing, but if he had really taken those kids, wouldn't attention be the last thing he'd want? And then there's the kids themselves. I wonder if they were already with him when I first saw the truck that morning, or were they somewhere else? I really can't stop thinking about it. The only explanation I can come up with is the type of person who'd kidnap a child doesn't think like normal people do, which is why that man would risk getting caught just to freak me out. My mom followed up with the police to try and shed some light on the case and our possible connection to it. If anything ever happens, I will send an update.
Looney Tunes. Telling you, play on my kid, it's gonna be OV for you. I promise you that. I promise you.
This happened last spring, about 9 months ago.
My kids was get kidnapped, bro. Don't give a dang about no work. I don't care about nothing. I'm manhunt. We going on a manhunt. Strictly like that. I'm gonna call the police for sure. Police can hunt for him, but I'm hunting, man. It's manhunt, man. It's manhunt time. I ain't gonna be able to sleep. I ain't brushing my teeth. I'm not taking showers. I'm gonna hunt this nigga. You know what I mean? Just keeping it real with you, bro. I'm gonna hunt down, man.
I'm a sales associate for BMW,
I'm gonna find that nigga.
So my weeks are pretty busy.
I'm gonna find you, nigga.
When I'm not at the dealership, I'm answering my phone. Because of all the phone work
when I
involved,
find
sometimes I feel like I have more to do when I'm not at the dealership, as funny as that sounds. Because of the nature of my work, I pretty much have to answer my phone every time it rings, especially when it's an unknown caller. So, as you'd expect, I get a lot of scam calls, but I have no choice but to answer, just in case it's a client or an interested party. One night, sometime after 10 p.m., my phone started ringing. It was a number my phone didn't recognize. Normally, I would have picked up without thinking, But this time, I was already in bed, halfway through winding down. Something about how late it was just made me let it ring out. They didn't leave a voicemail. I figured if it was important, they'd leave one. But a few minutes later, the same number called again. I sat up and answered it. I was a little irritated, but I still tried to keep my voice polite, just in case it was someone serious. At first, all I heard was static, just this thick, uneven fuzz. I was about to hang up when I caught something underneath it. A voice. I held the phone closer and listened. It was my voice. I was 100% sure of it. That actually made me freeze up a little bit.
Frick is your voice?
After a few seconds, I realized it was more than just a recording of my voice. It was a conversation I'd had earlier that day with a client. Just standard stuff, pricing, availability, setting up a test drive. Nothing sensitive, but it was definitely real. It was definitely my voice. I still don't know if it was the right decision, but I instantly hung up the phone. I sat there for a while, just staring at my phone, trying to make sense of what I'd just heard. I wasn't panicking, but I definitely wasn't calm either. The best way I can describe what I was feeling was a mix of confusion and unease. My first thought was that maybe it was the client I had talked to earlier. Maybe he had accidentally called me while trying to play back the call or record it for his own notes. I really don't know. It felt like a stretch, but it was the only explanation that didn't immediately spiral into something worse. That didn't really explain why the number was unknown instead of the number he had called from earlier, but it was the best I could come up with. The next morning, I decided to call him back just for my own sanity. He answered right away and seemed totally normal, friendly even. But when I brought up the call from the night before, he had no idea what I was talking about. He sounded genuinely confused. I apologized for the mix-up and hung up, and for whatever reason, I believed him. The rest of the day was normal. I had a few appointments, followed up with some leads, nothing out of the ordinary. I didn't think too much about the call from the night before, but later that night, around the same time, I got another call. The number wasn't saved in my phone again, but it was different from the number that had called me the night before. This time, I answered it immediately. Exactly what I was dreading happened. It was another static-heavy recording of a conversation I had that day with a client. A different client. A whole different conversation entirely.
Nigga stalking you? Like, what the freak going on, gang? You know what I'm saying? Nigga, phone got hacked or something, bro. This right here got my mind all over the place right now. I'm like, what the freak going on? Like, somebody watching you? Don't know they watching you? Like, what's going on, gang?
Client. A different client. A whole different conversation entirely. I hung up again without saying anything. That night was when it really started getting to me, because now it felt intentional, and I noticed something else. The recording didn't include the client's voice. It was only me talking, like a one-sided call. I started wondering if someone had been listening in on my conversations and recording me somehow.
Sound like it.
I didn't sleep very well that night, as I couldn't stop thinking about it, but I didn't know what to do. I never thought I was a paranoid person, but the next week of my life proved me wrong. Every night for a week, the same thing would happen. I'd get a call from a random number and would listen to a staticky recording of a conversation I'd had that day. I started recording the calls myself. I can't even tell you why. I just thought it was a smart thing to do. By the third or fourth night, it started to wear on me. Not just in a creepy, this is weird kind of way.
Keep it real, bro. Nigga, just stop answering calls on your real talk. F what a nigga do for work. Nigga finna just stop answering calls, bro. Real talk. Nigga ain't finna try to keep dealing with that, bro. You got a problem with a nigga, man, knock on a nigga door about it. You know what I'm saying? Come in the house about it, then.
It started to wear on me. Not just in a creepy, this is weird kind of way. I mean, it started to actually mess with my head. I couldn't relax. I couldn't think.
Nigga probably thought he was going crazy. I can't blame him though, boy.
Myself looking out the window every few minutes, like someone might be standing out there watching me. I started triple locking my front door. Then I started leaving a light on in every room at night. At one point, I even moved a chair in front of my bedroom door. Looking back, it's really hard for me to explain any of these decisions, but my mind was in a very different place during that period. Anytime my phone rang, even during the day, I'd step outside and answer it from the safety of my car, where I could see every angle around me. It sounds crazy now, but I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. At one point, I even brought it up with the police. I felt ridiculous doing it, but I figured if someone was monitoring me, I had to at least make some kind of report. The officer I spoke to was polite enough, but I could tell right away they didn't take it seriously.
They never take it. I try to tell you, bro, when it come to 12, they never take it serious unless something happens. You know what I mean? They're not going to take it serious, bro. They're not going to look into it until you get murdered or something just really happened to you, bro. That's when they going to start working. That's when they going to, you know what I'm saying, actually try to, you know what I mean, do something when something happened to a nigga.
Said they could try looking into the numbers, but unless there was a direct threat or evidence of harassment, there wasn't much they could do. I don't know if they actually tried to trace the calls or just filed it away and forgot about it.
He lied to you, bro.
Either way, it didn't help.
Got about it.
If anything, it made me feel more alone in it. A few days later, though, the calls suddenly stopped. That week of obsessively checking my surroundings and answering calls from my car must have deterred whoever was harassing me. Part of me wanted to believe it was over, but I couldn't relax. If anything, the sudden absence of contact actually caused me to spiral even further into paranoia. My mom is schizophrenic, so I always figured I was predisposed to developing some kind of mental condition, but it was literally happening right before my very eyes. I was becoming one of those reclusive people who think the entire world is spying on them.
Bro,
I ended up getting a brand new person.
I know I ain't the only one that be thinking this, y'all, bro. Like, it's like I be trying to, freaking think like, yeah, man, nobody's worrying about me. Nobody, nobody's worrying about me. Other people have stuff, on their plate. Basically trying to like talk to myself and make me feel like, man, I'm not, the center of the world. I'm not the center of attention, but I know I'm not the only people. Like, I can relate to this nigga. Nigga feel like he always, nigga go outside, nigga just feel like he always the center of attention, bro. And then the crazy thing is, when I be looking at people, people be looking at me, bro. It's like I be trying to like instill that in me. That nigga, ain't nobody worried about me. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody freaking worried about me. Everybody going on with it. But bro, when I step outside that door, I feel like everybody looking at me, bro. It's a feeling I can't shake, bro. I swear. That's what I be thinking of. I'm telling you, every time I look at a nigga looking right at me, cuz. You know what I'm saying? I be like, what the, like, how the freak do I feel like the whole world watching me? Like, nigga step outside the door, nigga feel like he got like some type of spotlight on him. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when that nigga said, I relate to that, bro. Niggas just feel like I be trying to think, bro, like, hey, ain't nobody freaking watching me, bro. You know what I mean? But when I go out in public, bro, I feel like everybody's watching me, bro. Like, I'm no non-paranoia, John. I just be feeling like everybody watching me, and I promise you, niggas be looking, bro. Niggas be looking. Nigga look this way, nigga looking right at me. I'm like, freak, bro, looking at me. You know what I mean? I feel like, I don't know, man.
To people who think
I ain't got anxiety. I ain't got that. I ain't gonna care. Like, my confidence is through the roof. Like, I ain't got that anxiety. I just feel like people just be watching me. You know what I'm saying? This is how I feel.
the entire world is spying on them.
But anxiety is something that you need to shoot. Anxiety is just how to get rid of anxiety, bro. Just not care about what people think, though. Even though I be feeling that way, it's like at the end of the day, I don't care about what people think. I feel like anxiety comes from you caring about what people think, bro. Whether you want to believe it or not, it's like, okay, I'm around a lot of people, because you being around a lot of people, even though I'm watching these niggas, I don't give a damn what none of these niggas think about me, bro. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what you think about me, nigga. You feel me? So I feel like anxiety comes from you caring about what people think. You go outside, bro, and don't give a F what nobody think, bro. You knowing who you is, you comfortable with who you are, and letting everybody else just think what they want to think about you, bro, you won't even care, bro. Of course, you know what I'm saying, you feel like, you know what I'm saying, yeah, you feel like your eyes watching you, but, bro, I don't be giving a dang. Because in the day, it's like, dang, like, you look around, bro, it's like, nigga, ain't nobody around this mud but me. Nigga, nobody don't know me but me and God. So it's like, at the end of the day, you the weird, nigga. You having this type of weird opinion about me. You don't even know me, and you having an opinion about me. You the weird nigga, not me. So that's how I look at life. It's like, nigga, know me. This nigga could think I'm weird. This nigga think I'm strange. This nigga could think whatever you want to think about me. Because 100% of the time, it's not even true. You feel me? At the end of the day, bro, you could try to do whatever you could try to do whatever's right. You could try to do whatever, nigga. People still not gonna like you, nigga. People still gonna have an opinion about you, bro. It don't matter what the freak you do. You try to do good, bro, people still gonna hate on you, bro. People still not gonna like you. You know what I mean? So I said, I'm gonna walk around this world not giving a F. What a nigga say? What a nigga think? I look like, nigga, who the freak gonna freaking be? Who gonna beat me? Who gonna beat me? You know what I'm saying? Who gonna nigga ain't gonna beat me?
I was becoming one of those reclusive people who think the entire world is spying on them.
Yeah, bro, but when he said that, I was like, bro, I can relate to this nigga. I think the whole world be like spying on me, bro. I be thinking everybody be looking at me. I ain't gonna cut.
I ended up getting a brand new personal phone number. It was a massive headache. Switching numbers meant having to reestablish contact with clients, update everything linked to my phone, and risk missing out on people trying to get in touch with me. But I did it anyway. I couldn't shake the feeling that my old number had been compromised somehow. After a few more days of radio silence, the thing I was dreading happened.
Oh, shit.
One night after work, I got another call. It was exactly like the ones before it. I kept my cool, and instead of remaining silent and hanging up, I actually spoke. I said something along the lines of, I don't know who you are or why you're doing this, but if it's money you want, I've got it.
You finna get this nigga money?
To say that I'd happily pay to be left alone. I gave the person my address and said I'd be willing to meet.
You gave this nigga your address, yeah, bro, tweaking. Bro, psyching out, boy. What the freak wrong with this nigga?
Pay to be left alone. I gave the person my address and said I'd be willing to meet. And then, for the first time, there was an actual voice on the other end. It sounded like they were using a voice changer. And all they said was 11 o'clock before hanging up. I know what you're thinking. Why the hell would I volunteer my address like that? Honestly, I can't answer that question. I was acting irrationally, I know that. But it's impossible for me to explain exactly how my mind was working during that time, so I'm not even gonna bother.
Tripping, bro.
The next 4 days were the most traumatic and stressful moments of my life. I'm not sure how much I can even type out without getting too graphic, but here goes. I have a handgun in my house for personal safety. I grabbed it from my room, loaded it, and sat at my kitchen table and waited. I can't even begin to explain all the thoughts that were bouncing around in my head as I sat.
Literally gave this nigga your address.
There. I contemplated a lot of things in those 4 hours. I'd go as far as to say that had it not been for sheer chance, I might not be typing this out right now. Just thinking about that night gives me a sickening feeling. 11 p.m. came and went, and no one showed up. There's no telling what I would have done had they actually showed up. I ended up sleeping at the kitchen table with the gun in my hand. It was by far the worst night of my life, but thankfully, that was the end of it. I never got another mysterious call again, but that didn't change the fact that that person had done irreparable damage to my mental state. It took me a lot of therapy and time off work to recover fully, and I still get chills thinking about how easily I was almost driven to complete madness. I will never have an explanation for what happened to me. I have no idea how that person recorded my conversations or who they even were. I have no idea why they harassed me or why they stopped for that matter. I've since moved out of that house, but there's not much I can do beyond that. If anything, this experience has made me a lot more fearful of the future. I can't help but think that I'm destined to end up just like my mom. Hopefully getting this out there will help me heal in some way.
Yeah, I don't know, bro. You probably got some type of... There ain't no way a phone call gonna make me react like that. I'm gonna keep it G with you. Know what I mean? I'm a type of nigga. You gotta see me about it. You gotta see me about it for real. You know what I'm saying? So a nigga ain't tripping about no phone call. I ain't tripping about that. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, for me, I just ain't calling. I just ain't answering. I mean, but for you to be psyching out like that, bro, with a phone call, G? Yeah, bro, I ain't gonna cap. And then you giving out your address? You talking about you gonna give money? That right there, you tripping. But bro got something going on with him, you know what I'm saying? But hey, man, I hope y'all enjoyed the stream, man. We did hit the 3-hour mark. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, Boy J give good streams every single day. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, you know what I mean? Every day we streaming except for Sunday. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, so appreciate everybody for joining the stream. You know what I mean? It's your boy Jay. aka Mr. Take It Easy for you, up like be easy. Boy, J out, man.